You can spend all day doing heavy landscaping and still worsen your insulin, deepen belly fat storage, and feel drained by afternoon. You are constantly exhausted, digging dirt with zero free time. I used to think brutal labor automatically fixed my health markers. But there is a subtle biological catch to how we move. Here's what most people miss. In this video, you will see what 8,000 steps a day can do to 3 markers: insulin control, belly fat signals, and daily energy. Most people fail to fix their metabolic decline because they target the wrong enemy. They assume hard workouts are the only trigger that improves insulin sensitivity and body composition. They try to outwork a sedentary lifestyle with an hour of extreme exertion, only to find their fatigue deepens and their energy keeps stalling. The real enemy is not the absence of intense exercise. Keep that in mind, we'll use it in a minute. The real risk is uninterrupted stillness, because it pushes your body toward insulin resistance, visceral fat gain, and low energy. Stopping daily movement often shifts your body into a storage and stress state, where insulin stays elevated longer, visceral fat accumulates faster, and your energy crashes. This is not just fatigue. Dropping below a specific daily step threshold can push your key health markers in the wrong direction. Higher post-meal glucose, higher insulin demand, and more belly fat storage. People frequently blame genetics or age for a sudden drop in energy, but the pattern often comes from behavior your body reads as a problem. Think of your body like a factory shifting into power-saving mode during a massive outage to ensure basic survival. When your day stays far below an active baseline, your body behaves like movement is optional and storage is safer. So insulin stays higher and belly fat becomes easier to keep. Your environment is signaling your machinery to slow down. The human body simply responds to the stimuli you provide. We observe how biological resource allocation tends to dictate human performance. When physiological stress rises from a sedentary routine, the system faces a critical choice. It operates exactly like a bank account with a strict monthly budget. Emergency stress expenses drain the funds that were meant for recovery, stable energy, and deep sleep. You cannot simply supplement your way out of this deficit. So how exactly does rhythmic forward movement signal the body to stop this drift? The mechanism of metabolic drift. To understand how movement preserves your baseline, we must look at the environment created by prolonged sitting. When your daily step count stays far below an 8,000 step target, your circulation slows down, your muscles do less glucose uptake, and your blood sugar stays higher for longer after meals. Your calf muscles, which normally act as secondary hearts to pump blood back to the lungs, go largely dormant. This is not just a structural issue. It creates a stagnant internal environment. But that's not the main effect yet. When you sit for long, uninterrupted blocks, your muscles are simply not contracting often enough. That means glucose clearance slows, and your body needs more insulin to manage the same meals. Visceral fat can begin to accumulate around the organs when glucose is repeatedly stored instead of burned. You should view visceral fat as a biologically active tissue. It is not just extra weight. It tends to promote inflammation and worsen insulin sensitivity, which makes belly fat harder to lose and energy more unstable across the day. Here's the weird part. Long, uninterrupted sitting can also keep your stress system slightly on. Blood pools in the lower extremities. Endothelial function declines. Think of this stagnation like rust in a pipe. This can promote a low-grade cortisol signal that makes it harder to wind down at night and easier to crave quick carbs, even when you are not truly hungry. That's the catch. Now, here is the payoff. Within 3 days of consistent daily steps, many people notice less post-meal sleepiness and fewer afternoon energy crashes. Within 7 days, cravings often calm down, and sleep tends to feel deeper because your daily rhythm becomes more stable. Within 14 to 30 days, belly fat pressure starts to shift in the right direction, especially if food intake stays roughly the same. The 8,000-step metabolic protocol. To reverse metabolic drift, you cannot rely on one hard workout to cancel out an entire day of sitting. Think of 8,000 steps as a daily metabolic reset that makes your muscles a better sink for glucose. A specific distribution of low-grade movement is required. This improves insulin control and supports better sleep. By structuring your movement into specific, frequent microdoses, you stop fighting the symptom. You start dismantling the mechanism. We call this the 8,000-step metabolic protocol. It consists of 3 pillars that directly improve insulin control, reduce belly fat pressure, and stabilize energy. A good target is 8,000 steps daily, but the real magic is how you distribute them. Morning light, workday breaks, and post-meal walks. Pillar 1. The circadian anchor. The first step requires 1,000 to 2,000 steps within the first hour of waking, ideally outdoors. This is not about burning calories. This is about circadian timing and setting your rhythm for the day. When you move forward through space, visual images pass by your eyes. This can support alertness and help your brain shift into day mode. This is why a short outdoor walk often makes people feel more awake than coffee. Walking signals to the nervous system that you are up, moving, and functioning. It helps smooth the sharp edge of morning stress and sets a better rhythm for the rest of the day. And this explains the strange part. A common mistake here is wearing dark sunglasses or waiting until the afternoon to get your first steps. Without early light entering the retina, the circadian clock delays, and the day can feel wired and tired at the same time. Practically, what you'll notice is steadier morning energy, fewer cravings, and a calmer wind down at night that supports better sleep. Pillar 2. The frequency buffer. The second pillar dictates how you distribute your steps throughout the workday. The human metabolic system tends to thrive on frequent, low-grade signals rather than massive, infrequent spikes. When you sit mostly still for long durations, your body becomes worse at clearing metabolic byproducts, and the system drifts toward inflammation and storage. This buildup increases systemic inflammation, which is closely associated with insulin resistance and stubborn belly fat. Most people get this wrong. They sit for 9 straight hours and assume a treadmill run later can compensate for the stillness. The slowdown has already happened. The rust is already in the pipe. To combat this, the protocol requires a microdose of movement every 90 to 120 minutes. You do not need to walk a mile. You simply need to stand up and walk for 2 to 3 minutes. These microdoses wake up the calf muscles, improve circulation, and keep the system clean, which helps your energy stay more stable. Pillar 3. The glucose clearance. The final pillar focuses on post-meal movement. This is arguably the most critical step for metabolic health, because it directly lowers the glucose spike and reduces the insulin needed to handle it. High circulating insulin makes fat loss harder and energy more unstable across the day. Insulin acts like a one-way valve in the body. When insulin levels remain high after a heavy meal, it blocks the release of stored energy and shifts the body toward strict storage mode. It also makes it harder to feel alert after eating, and it can feed late-night cravings if your blood sugar swings later. Now watch what changes next. Your goal is to clear that glucose from the bloodstream efficiently, without requiring massive amounts of insulin. This is achieved by walking for 10 to 15 minutes immediately following your largest meals. Muscle contractions can pull glucose into muscle tissue, which reduces the glucose load your pancreas would otherwise have to manage. Think of glycogen storage in your muscles like a wallet. When you sit after eating, the wallet stays full. Excess glucose spills over, requiring a bigger insulin response to store it. When you walk after eating, you spend what's in the wallet. You create room so the sugar has a safe place to go. Do not do this. Do not collapse onto the couch right after a heavy dinner. This forces the pancreas to work overtime. The insulin spikes, your blood sugar swings harder, and your energy crashes later. In plain terms, this means short post-meal walks let your muscles do the work your pancreas would otherwise have to do. The binge-walking trap. As you implement this protocol, you must avoid a specific compensatory trap. Many people realize they are severely deficient in their daily step count by Friday afternoon. In an attempt to hit a weekly average, they engage in forced, high-volume walking on the weekends, often logging upwards of 20,000 steps in a single day. This approach often triggers a rebound. Your joints, ligaments, and stress pathways are not adapted to this sudden volume. Instead of helping, a massive, unconditioned spike in locomotion can act like physical stress. Cortisol can rise, sleep can worsen, and appetite can rebound. In plain terms, this means consistency tends to outperform extreme volume. Your system responds best to a steady, predictable rhythm. Do not try to trick the system. It adapts to the daily average. The final framework, bringing your step count back to an active baseline, is not a fitness trend. It is a fundamental requirement for stable insulin, lower belly fat pressure, better sleep, and consistent energy. Without adequate locomotion, your body tends to favor stress and fat storage over recovery and clarity. Movement is not merely a tool for burning calories. It is the baseline requirement for metabolic equilibrium. When you restore that baseline, your system can stop overreacting to sitting still and start investing back into recovery, energy, and sleep. Here's the simple way to apply this. If you want a simple challenge, do this for 7 days and track 3 things: your post-meal sleepiness, your late-night cravings, and your morning energy. Do this. Walk 1,000 to 2,000 steps within the first hour of waking, ideally outdoors, to set your circadian rhythm and stabilize energy. Break up prolonged sitting every 90 to 120 minutes with short 2-minute walks to keep circulation, metabolism, and focus online. Walk for 10 to 15 minutes after your largest daily meal to reduce the glucose spike and lower the insulin demand. Avoid this. Avoid sitting mostly still for long, uninterrupted blocks, which worsens glucose control and increases belly fat pressure over time. Avoid wearing sunglasses during your early morning walk, which can blunt the circadian light signal. Avoid the binge-walking trap on weekends, which can spike stress and disrupt sleep. If you only remember one thing, your body treats uninterrupted stillness like a quiet problem, and consistent daily steps are one of the fastest ways to improve insulin control, reduce belly fat pressure, and get your energy back. If you want more breakdowns like this, stay with this channel. Comment 8,000. If you want me to turn this into a simple 7-day step schedule you can follow without thinking. Which part of this framework are you currently missing?